Hey family, how you doing? It's Erik Steven, King's MC, and I've got Cordy with me also. And I want to go over week 2 with you of our tour life, of our ministry life. Uh, we left California at the beginning of the week, or the middle of the week. We left to California, and we headed back to Arizona. We actually went to Tucson, Arizona, and we got to meet up with a church that we've actually got to minister with in the past, called Urban City Tabernacle. Been to Urban City Tabernacle 2 times before. I actually met them through Craigslist, so that was a weird thing. The only good thing that's ever happened from Craigslist. No, that's not true. Cordy's from Craigslist. So 2 things from Craigslist. Cordy's from Craigslist and Urban City Tabernacle's from Craigslist. And they got to meet for the first time this past week also. So here's a little couple of highlights from that. Can you feel it? In the air, it's so cheery and curious.
I'm crazy.
All right, I'm here with Pastor Earl Davis at Urban City Tabernacle. We just got done doing, I think it was an awesome show. I don't know, I was on stage, I couldn't really see what was going on, so, but they seem to be enjoying it. But I want to thank you for having me out here, and I just want you to, if you could just share a little bit about what you do here with Urban City Tabernacle.
It'd be my honor. Yeah, my name is Earl, and we've been a pastor. My wife, my beautiful wife Denise, and I have been pastoring this brand new church over the past 2 years. As you can see, we're moving. So we're moving to our 3rd building. It's going to be a 3-year lease. So we're excited. It's a very large building. We can fit this building in there probably 3 times. They're giving us a very good price. We're also going to be doing a lot of feeding the homeless. Starting May 2nd, we'll be feeding the homeless like we've always been doing. We do a lot of music concerts, a lot of outreaches, a lot of mentoring. And so we're just excited about one-on-one discipleship. So we're just really excited to be involved in what God's doing just in Tucson in the urban community. Look us up at urbancitytabernacle.com or .org, and you'll see us on there. We also do Spanish services also. God bless you.
After Tucson, we got back in the van and headed off to Las Cruces, New Mexico. And despite what you might have heard, it is not my hometown. It is, however, where my parents live currently. So we're actually not staying in the van right at the moment. We're staying in my parents' apartment in Las Cruces. And we have 2 shows here. The first one we did over the weekend at Morning Star United Methodist Church, and that's where the second one is going to be also. But the first one was for specifically for the youth. And what was great about this was that beforehand we actually got to sit down with the youth and talk to them and share a little bit about our testimony, and just answer random facts, and then play some apples to apples. It was a great time of fellowship and ministry. And then afterwards we had dinner, and then I got to do a little song and dance for them. And here's a few highlights from this, also with more from their leaders, David and Jenny. Most everybody here has grown up in the church. I grew up in the church, and I knew of Jesus. I knew of God, obviously, but I didn't know Jesus. And there's a huge difference between knowing of him and knowing him. It wasn't until I cried out to God and I said, if you are real, please, I need you at this moment. And he showed up. I mean, he didn't physically walk into my room and hey Erik, what are you doing? but I mean, essentially he pretty much did. He came to me and he stopped me, and from that moment on, I turned my life over to him, and I got to know him.
We've really seen the kids step up and want to take part in the ministry and volunteer to do different aspects of the church. This next Sunday, they're going to be doing a youth service, which they'll do everything except for the sermon. So they'll serve communion,
Usher and everything.
greeters, yeah.
And I think definitely their fellowship has developed and matured, because as we learn about Christ and being Christ for each other, they have stepped up to that call to reach out and be genuine friends to each other, even if they have really different like schools and backgrounds and interests. They really hear each other, and it's become a place where they can trust. And this is a safe place, because school is not safe, and sometimes families aren't safe, and so they can come to
Yeah, they
hear
reach
each
out.
other.
They reach out to one another, and then I also reach out to a lot of other kids that are in the community or at school, and invite them to participate, which has been a really growing experience. And also, we've had the privilege of bringing the kids to 2 retreats in the mountains.
Yes.
Jenny's brought the kids, total of 3, and it's such a growing experience where they bond with one another and they really get to know each other, and we've had the privilege of being a part of that.
Yeah, and I definitely love that, watching the kids each figure out where they tap into God, where they kind of draw on that well. And sometimes it's in camp, and sometimes it's not, because some people are like, I'm not going to go camping. But then other people, it's the music. And other people, it's in that service, when we do service work. So, really getting to be able to get to know the kids and how we can best be like, okay, God, what does this kid need? Or what do these kids really need to feed their soul and to be able to connect in a way that's meaningful. That's us. Jenny, Co, Stacy, and David.
Peace out.
Morning Star.
Okay, so as I'm recording this, today is Tuesday. So tomorrow we have the big show for the entire congregation of Morning Star. And then I also have a radio interview in the morning at New Mexico State University. So that's going to be a good time. Today we got to go hang out in El Paso, Texas, and go to a baseball game for the minor leagues. They're called the Chihuahuas. Chihuahua. The El Paso Chihuahuas. And they won. They played the Salt Lake City Bees or something like that. Anyways, it was a good time. Some people got rowdy, but overall it was a good time. But yeah, that's this week in a nutshell. And thank you for watching. And catch you next week. God bless. In editing, you can puke your guts out. So anyway.